Hi, Governor Holcul. My name is Heather Moore. I'm a whistleblower. I don't have all of my whistleblower ID numbers. I filed multiple SEC whistleblower. I guess they weren't full-fledged whistleblower claims because I didn't have an attorney, but it's a TIPS is what they may refer to it as. You basically blow the whistle with the SEC whistleblowers unit. I specifically blew the whistle on Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown, his brother, who was apparently working with my roommates, Tish James and Cuomo, for sending private investigators to my home, stalking me at my home. My landlord almost shot one of them. And that resulted in the raid on Buffalo, the second raid on Buffalo City Hall. At the time, I did not know there had been a previous raid. I'm in Burlington. I just finished 3 weeks of antibiotics, and I'm still got some residual pain from very painful dental abscesses. I don't know that there's dental abscesses, but when cancer metastasizes, it creates infection, and that's where you get your pain, and that's when it allows to fester, gets in your bloodstream and starts shutting down your major organs. There's different stages to sepsis. When I tried to sit and type out an email, which really was a relatively short email considering all the fuckery that has gone on by Cuomo, his attorneys, and their investigators who are acting on behalf of Dr. Jasna Singh, for starters. Even that relatively short email, comparatively speaking, was excruciatingly painful. And so I'm not, even with, I have a very nice computer, it's relatively comfortable for me to use for short periods of time. Today I received a letter dated March 24, 2022, OPMC number 2203-2220. Dear Heather Moore, in accordance with New York State Public Health Law, the Office of Professional Misconduct has reviewed your correspondence regarding Jasna Singh and Dory Marshall, MD. This office is responsible for investigating allegations of professional misconduct by physicians. I reported them for their HIPAA violations, refusing to bill my New York Medicaid because of their HIPAA violations, which would have resulted in False Claims Act, which that's very easy to, I would think that the Department of Health could easily work with the Office of the Inspector General in the New York State Attorney General's office to see that they never billed my New York Medicaid, which was retroactive to December of 2018, which should have covered the Catholic Health emergency hospitalization where I was not prescribed psychiatric meds. The psychiatric doctor that they did send in there never made any psychiatric diagnosis to my knowledge, and the discharge paperwork certainly did not make a referral to any psych services. The doctor was reported telling me that he was not allowed to refer me to GYN Oncology and told me to go to Buffalo General to get my referral to GYN Oncology. And when I went to Buffalo General, they basically, Jasna Singh, they admitted me for cancer treatment. I recorded all those doctors saying first they weren't going to, they were going to discharge me. They said that the previous oncologist from Roswell had found no evidence of cancer, which that's not what he got recorded telling me. And then when I asked for their names so I could write them up to the DEA, because they said they were going to manage my pain, which is drug diversion, you can't write for narcotics and then falsify your medical records as to why you're writing for those narcotics, and then not treat the condition that's causing the pain, according to two DEA drug diversion specialists. So when I asked for the doctor's names, and I said I need their full names, I have to write them up to the DEA. Then I record the doctor coming back in there. Oh, well, we've decided that we're going to get Roswell. No, what'd she say? First she said Lakeview, and I said, Lakeview, who's that? I asked for a referral to Great Lakes. Oh, yeah, Great Lakes. So then she's saying that they admitted me onto the 15th floor, and then I recorded the doctors coming in saying, we're going to get you treated for your cancer. And then Jasna Singh came in and basically told me that the other doctors had, and I'm paraphrasing, had falsified their records, and that she was a psychiatrist. And I said, they never said I said, that sounds like patient steering to me. I said, that's fraud. I'm not making any complaints of psychiatric issues, ergo you shouldn't be in here. And I recorded all of those previous encounters. You're recording? I said, yeah. She ran out. She never asked a single diagnostic question, got me illegally and wrongfully incarcerated in a psych ward over at ECMC that resulted in it took a while, but the mental health court hearing, they're confessing to their murder. Oh, well, she's writing us up to the FBI. And that's their justification for wrongful committal. So I made sure in all of my previous emails, which I wrote up the formal complaint to your Department of Health, because they emailed me in response to my previous emails and said, we need you to sign a formal complaint. And I thought, okay, it's a technicality, because, they're Cuomo's making all these allegations that he's being railroaded, it's a political conspiracy, and, all this basically gaslighting and playing the victim. And so I said, okay, I'm going to humor them, and that way they have something in writing and whatever. And then she's saying, we're not going to take any action based on what you sent us. Well, they should have, based on everything that I sent to all these jurisdictions, which should be cooperating together with your independent investigators and you and Senator Sanders and the Sheriff's Department here. They should have come and done the blood work and the CT scans on the records there, should have told them everything. I mean, multiple ground glass opacities in both lungs. I don't know if they did a CAT scan of the head to show it. I don't remember if they did at the ER doctor at the Cheektowaga Catholic Health, the Sisters of Charity. I don't remember if she did a CAT scan of the head. It seems to me that she did, but I can't say for certain. I don't remember. I was half dead. I had to have 2 blood transfusions. It still didn't, because of all the severe hemorrhaging. Then that, because New York has a law where if you can only, there's a blood shortage, so they couldn't keep giving me blood transfusions to get my red blood cell count, or hemoglobin is what they call it, up to a relatively healthy level where you're not so symptomatic, because the severe blood loss can also cause severe dehydration, and it could have been causing the cardiac arrest, the chest pain. So what the Roswell Park oncologist, Adam Katowski, did was he ordered IV iron, which actually works better than blood transfusions. As a result of that, I keep iron supplements, and after hemorrhaging, I will buy liquid iron, which prevents me from dying, basically, and keeps my energy levels up and prevents fatigue. So anyway, they should have, there's visible evidence of the fact that the cancer is way past stage 4, and because of where it is all throughout, visible swollen lymph nodes on my back, I can't take pictures. I did have my roommate take pictures of it, but I couldn't submit pictures I would have had to go print that up. It's noted if she had sent for all the records and got all the previous emails from all the jurisdictions that I emailed, I put that in there that they're lying and calling that a benign fatty lipoma, because I mentioned how I'm still being threatened and refused work comp cancer care here in Vermont, which is licensed with the New York Department of Health. Maybe not, I don't know if Copeland Laura is. I didn't see where she was licensed in New York, but she's still on staff at University of Vermont. All of the University of Vermont doctors cover for her. I can't go into the ER for treatment. I have to get what I need to keep from dying on the sly, so nobody knows where it's coming from, who's telling me what to take and how, to prevent people, members of AA, from being killed. Some medical professionals, some doctors, some, I don't even know, honestly, what their licenses are. I don't know what their licenses are in. Don't know. But I know they're mandated to say something. They've been helping me blow the whistle on Chad and his father's attempts to kill me as a whistleblower and as Chad's domestic violence victim, since I lived at 1500 Rock Lake Drive in Orlando with Chad Cronin, the attorney for all these, basically the DNC, basically you. You're part of the DNC. So I'm sending you this video because I don't know, they did not do a thorough investigation based on what I know most Department of Health officials should be doing. They do routinely go out in the field, talk to the patients. I didn't even get a phone call. They didn't say, Miss Moore, could you send us pictures of the visible evidence of cancer? They didn't need it. It should be right there in the records. The CAT scans, the blood work, the fact that they prescribe nitroglycerin. I mentioned that they unbundled everything into false diagnoses, and that this is work comp. They never should have billed New York Medicaid in the first place. That they went online, pretended to be me at Sisters. Actually, I don't know if I put that in there or not. But anyway, they knew that this is a complicated situation that couldn't be covered in one page of written stuff. And they clearly got the previous emails because they sent me the email telling me to sign the formal complaint. So, and a lot of those emails had links to recordings, to documents. I don't know what all was in it, but it's still in my saved folder. So I'm telling you, I don't feel they did a thorough examination. Now, because this is related to Cuomo and his previous administration, maybe they're just referring it over to your independent investigators. Could be. But sending a letter like this is very dangerous, because what's going to happen now is they'll put a bullet in my head thinking they're not going to answer for anything. That's how they think. But you know that because I've seen how you've worked since the raid on Buffalo City Hall to now. But our team is AA. We do not have to cooperate with any government jurisdiction. AA is a tax-exempt nonprofit. Our lives are being threatened, many of which are on behalf of alcoholic addict cops like Chad Cronin, whom I met in AA, oligarch Virginia G. Piper, who's on our recording saying, "Oh, I'm really good friends." What did she say? How did she say it? I'm really good friends with Bill W. Or I'm something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. I don't think I'm quoting her verbatim. But she basically indicated that she'd been in a lot of AA meetings and advised me to go. She said, "You'll find a friend there." And she knew that there was domestic violence going on with Chad because of everything I recorded with her undercovers. Only she wasn't there to help me. She was there to exploit the situation the same way he was trying to exploit the previous situation with my parents. And then my parents are just trying to exploit the situation with their their violence. But my point is, they have been in AA. They know what they're doing is wrong. They know they have murdered another AA member, attempted to murder another AA member, using addicts and alcoholics that are in active addiction. I thought they killed Chad, but Piper's troll, Tara Marshall, at Phoenix PD Cross Disability Advisory Board member, indicated he wasn't dead. So my mother, she's like, Heather, he's not dead. So I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here. So I, blew smoke. And there's smoke you can blow and smoke you can't blow. And this is dangerous smoke. This gets people killed. Me and our AA team and witnesses, when we were quarantined for COVID, we watched addicts drop dead left and right from accidental overdoses, many of which went balls to the wall back into full-blown active addiction because they thought they were going to die any minute because of all the bullshit COVID propaganda. And we knew it was propaganda, many of us, because a bunch of us at Travel Lodge here in Burlington got COVID. I called a local doctor's office to find out. We were too busy being threatened by the staff at Travel Lodge repeatedly and lied about on Channel 3 News. Travel Lodge is taking pictures of the lady who was in the room next to me. How do I do this delicately? Let's just say she had issues. And she's terrified. She was drinking, she was drugging, puking, trying to work, scared to death to leave her room to even go to work, because we were convinced we were all going to die of COVID. She was trembling, and that was while she was drinking and high. She was still terrified. There wasn't enough drugs in the world to ease a lot of these people's terror. Took pictures of her room while she's still a client there and put that on Channel 3 News saying, ooh, the homeless, they tear stuff up, and posted a picture of her room while she's still a client who's in a program. Let's just say they violated her HIPAA to demonize all of us. And then their maintenance man went on the news saying, oh yeah, they're passing crack pipes around like we were standing around completely disobeying the quarantine rules, where we would have got put out. If we were standing too close to each other on the balcony talking about what was going to happen next with our rooms, what's going on, they would call our room or come out and threaten our room, threaten to put us out, like that was going to help anything. So, these contractors at the hotels are, they're equally as corrupt as a New Place, COT, Safe Harbor, everybody else contract. That's why they get the contracts. So anyway, I call the local doctor's office, and a nurse gets recorded telling me, are you dying? Are any of you so sick that you feel like you're dying and need emergency medical care? I said, no, we barely have symptoms at all, but we do have breathing issues. Some have COPD, some are elderly, whatever. She said, well, do not risk. Don't go in and get tested just to see if you have COVID. She said the biggest majority of the cases are mild, just like what you're experiencing now. She said, do not risk giving COVID to medical staff. Don't just go in and get tested just to be getting tested. Don't go and get tested for COVID unless your symptoms are so bad that you feel like you need emergency medical care. You can't breathe, whatever. So we knew right then this was all a bunch of BS. That was a local doctor's office. I don't remember the name. It's somebody affiliated with University of Vermont. I got on their physician referral. Did I call? I don't remember how I got the doctor's name, to be perfectly honest. I have to, my brain isn't there right now. But there's certainly a record of that call, and the call was recorded on a different telephone. So, and once I stop using a telephone, I usually disable it from Google Play services so nobody's spyware can when you get a new phone, you have to give permission to Google, and you have to use Google Play services, you have to use Facebook, you have to give them permission to access all your files and recordings. So nothing's private on a phone. So that's why I do a lot of my recordings on a phone that doesn't have service, and I have to keep it that way since big tech is involved. According to the news. And definitely things that have happened with my email. They can certainly monitor my keystrokes. That's why I can't even email you through your private portal and say, I'm in septic shock, I'm this, I'm that, I'm hemorrhaging, because if they know I'm vulnerable, they'll lock me up on a psych ward and I'll be dead within a couple of days, or make a false arrest or whatever. So I can't let you know when I'm vulnerable, because then they'll know. Or take a chance of them knowing. But anyway, AA, as you know, is a tax-exempt nonprofit, and we have watched people drop dead left and right. Addicts are being created because they're not getting the proper medical care. Then they're fed narcotics, or then they're lied to and said, you're gaslighted, oh, you're not paying, you're just drug seeking like they did me, hoping they'll go to the street for drugs so then they can refer them. So then what that does is that makes it look like their criminal allegations are legitimate, or what they call benefit of hindsight. You create the situation where the person does the thing, so you can say, oh, look, they did it. We knew she was going to do it. It's just another form of gaslighting. So AA is going to be acting independently. Are we going to help you as much as we can? Yes. But this crap right here is how you get really ugly protests started. We don't have to put our lives on the line for your investigation. Anybody's investigation. They can't report any of the stuff they know in Florida, because like in Florida, the entire Florida power construct is corrupt, especially with Val Demings as a rep, convicted fraudster Rick Scott, whom Cuomo was covering, is a senator. Jerry Demings is now mayor over, Orlando Police, where his wife Demings used to be the chief. So we've got our own lives to worry about. And we can't be forced to participate in anything or cooperate with anything. That's not to say we're not going to try to help, but letters like that don't help. Now, did I have to post that on Facebook? No. But this is a matter of public record. That means their lawyers who are defending them can send for this, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, and the lawyers that are helping me, this is not their field of expertise. Whistleblower stuff, work comp stuff, healthcare stuff, it's not really their area. So, we're all just kind of doing the best we can. And we're very grateful. We definitely feel safer than we did, because you've done such a wonderful job of blowing all of this up. Everybody who is cooperating with your investigation, whoever's running it, don't know who that is. I just know the one investigator I recorded said that he worked for you and your husband. That's what he said. I don't know. But he mentioned, I didn't know who you were. I had no idea who the lieutenant governor of the state of New York was. I didn't know who Bernie Sanders was when we started all of this. So anyway, this a guy is here that they used to follow me. So anyway, I'm still very potentially being stalked. Didn't get much sleep last night. It was snowing and branches were falling all around me, and I was terrified that they sent somebody out there to fell a tree on my head. I'm still very vulnerable. I'd be even more vulnerable if I were in a hotel without an actual victim's advocate. Because the hotel staff screws with us on behalf of Weinberger and Cuomo and anybody else that's corrupt. I'm in the safest place I can be. Nobody's in charge of my belongings. Nobody can shut down the shelter and tell me that I can't leave because somebody else tested positive for COVID. No hotel managers or owners or housekeeping people have access to my belongings. I mean, yeah, it's all out of tent, but everything that's valuable that has information on it comes with me everywhere I go. I don't leave anything of value. I don't leave my evidence in the tent. Comes with me everywhere I go, and that right there is a problem. That's when you're trying to trudge through snow and ice, and you're carrying 15 pounds of electronics and gear. Power banks, those 20 milliamp power banks are heavy. This computer is it's as lightweight as it can get, but it's heavy. I think I've said all I need to say. I'm not making any allegations against your healthcare commissioner or your K. Broderick, RN, nurse investigator, central intake office. We have concluded our review of the information that you provided and have determined that the issues described will not warrant action within the scope of our statutes. According to the information you have supplied, will be trained in our confidential whatever. Well, their statutes say that you have to give informed consent. Can't lie to the patient. So they're already lying to me. Now, did I go through all of that in the written complaint? No, it was all covered in the emails that were sent to all the various jurisdictions. I don't remember which emails went where, but they should all be cooperating. I've got all my confirmation emails from New York OMIG, where I did say, this violates, informed consent. Some of this stuff, you don't falsify medical records, that's a felony. You don't wrongfully incarcerate someone and refuse them medical care and stalk them at their home. A lot of this is common sense. I shouldn't have to spell that out. Your patient's rights statutes don't say don't hire private investigators to masturbate outside. Hire lawyers who hire private investigators to masturbate outside your patient's tent, because it shouldn't have to. Who would even conceive of some dumb shit like that? So this is why we're not giving anybody all of our evidence. We're not going to allow, with us being sent stuff like this, we don't know whether it's another corrupt shill left over from the Cuomo administration. We don't know whether it's somebody you didn't know was corrupt, like your lieutenant governor that just got arrested. We don't know what's going on. Until I'm sequestered with the victim's advocate, getting restraining orders in place, and am able to go where I need to go without worrying about somebody stalking me, a cop or a city contractor or other government contractor or investigator for some attorney, all the same difference. There's only so much we can do. Plus, I'm having to sit here and charge up all of my devices. I'm not going to sit down and write a book every time I have to write up a new complaint. And a book would even be, a short version. It would take 4 books to describe all of the criminal acts committed by Cuomo, your predecessor, his Department of Health, federal agents, police departments, mayors, their brother, their attorneys, their private investigators. So, again, I'm not making any allegations. I don't know why they sent me that. Maybe it's because you're still trying to maintain your cover. I don't know. But it needs to be looked into. That sending letters like that is not safe for me or my team. 2 of which have been wrongfully incarcerated. Did they actually commit the crime? They may have, but the police know those 2 people are witnesses who should be sequestered and be given some semblance of protection. They probably wouldn't have committed those crimes if they weren't being terrorized by the cops. One was passed out it was a George Floyd situation. He was in his car. He was apparently passed out or asleep in the passenger side, so the automobile wasn't moving. And he was dragged out and arrested. And here's the thing, I don't even think they had probable cause to approach the vehicle. He wasn't moving. He wasn't passed out in the passenger seat. He was in the driver's seat. He was in the passenger seat. Now, I don't know if anything happened prior to that. Was there a wreck? Now, it seems like there was some damage to her car. That may have been, maybe he hit somebody and then they followed him and, I don't know. But here's the thing. He never should have been on the streets terrified about retaliation because they knew he was a material witness. They knew he was he working a perfect program? No such thing. Even the AA literature says that. Nobody maintains anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We do not govern, we are but trusted servants, period. There are no dues or fees. Now, the only reason why I'm suing and interested in whistleblower rewards and work comp is because Chad Cronin made so much money off my work, never paid me, then tried to kill me as his domestic violence victim and investigator. And they obviously took my emails that is protected under attorney-client privilege, my emails to the NAACP attorney, Ben Taylor in Phoenix, and made a movie. They're terrorizing too many people, and letters like that just gives them more. Not like they need. They're good at making excuses to terrorize us in the first place. Letters like that make it even worse. So I don't know why that letter was sent. I feel it was irresponsible. And it made me and our team unsafe. And I was just immediately terrorized as soon as I read it. I don't care whether it's part of your cover. I don't care whether it's more corruption. It's dangerous. Our statutes. Okay, HIPAA, what? HIPAA violations aren't covered by your statute, which is exactly what I accuse them of. If not in the written formal complaint, in the emails they got prior to that prompted them to send me an email telling me to sign a formal complaint. Not reporting MTELA violations, I'm not going to go over it again and again, but yeah, it just don't make no sense to me. So I'm asking you to look into it. I don't know what's going on, but that just put me and my life in danger. They'll shoot me in the head. Now, they already